What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's happening with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. And break down what's happening with the economic calendar moving forward, what's going on with other details involving Tesla, and some big moves that Tesla's making that is actually quite bullish for the stock, at least for the long term. But before I break into detail all this information, before I talk about what Tesla just announced that's pretty good, what's happening with the share price, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo and deposit $100, you're guaranteed 7 free stocks. And the offer is very soon in just about 2.5 weeks. Anyways, now let's break down what's happening to Tesla. Looking at Tesla so far, guys, Tesla has been on a very, very interesting trend. We hit this 172 support. Now we're trying to rebound a bit as we're approaching our 50 EMA. We're going to be watching this resistance to see if Tesla could try to test it, if Tesla could try to get a little bounce. Right now, SPY and the QQQ are ripping to the upside. They're looking a lot more bullish right now. It is how we're looking for the time being, but we have to watch to see how we close for today. And then as the market's pushing higher, we'll see what ends up perpetuating from there. But let me just make it very clear that today's Friday, May 10th. We have some important stuff coming out. We have Bowman from the Fed giving a speech. We also have Cash Card giving a speech at 10 o'clock a.m. So we'll see how things go. And then also at 10 a.m., which is like 30 minutes after the market ends up opening, we have the Michigan 5-year inflationary expectations, the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report, and more data from Michigan coming out. So basically, Bowman's giving a speech in just a few minutes. And then at 10 a.m., we have all this stuff coming out from Cash Kari's speech to data from Michigan, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, by the way, 30 minutes after market open. And then throughout the day, we have more Fed speakers, like Barr and the others just giving their speech for the next couple of hours after that. But it's very, very minor, nothing too insane, at least for the markets. For earnings, I didn't see anything too crazy. We just had like Inspired and Digital Ocean, very, very minor earnings for Friday. That's what the earnings calendar is looking like it's about to conclude for the week. For more data about the markets, there's not really a whole lot coming out, but there has been some talk about how Sinclair is looking to sell nearly 30% of its owned or operated broadcast stations. Apple took the rare step of apologizing for an advertisement that prompted lots of backlash on social media. That's something very, very important. This video was supposed to be for the new iPads, showing lots of instruments and stuff, but once again, they got some criticism about the way they went about it. So that's something worth noting. There's been a lot of deals with Novavax coming out. This is going to be very important for them to try to do a lot of things with vaccines. So something worth noting. But that's pretty much it, at least that I'm seeing on headlines. Nothing else too crazy. And the last thing before I talk about Tesla is this. For today, do not forget that we have over 300,000 calls expiring and we have over 527,000 puts expiring. A 1.71 puts to call ratio. Will the market makers continue to squeeze shorts or are they going to shift something else? But so far, this is favoring once again, more shorts. There's a lot more shorts out there. We're seeing a lot more shorts in the options chain. So the market makers may try to squeeze those shorts. The options chain has a lot more shorts that's favoring them, but the market makers are going to try to possibly do the opposite and try to hurt as many shorts as possible. So they could try to squeeze these shorts and push the market higher. Now, there's a lot of news coming out that BP is trying to expand its EV charging unit in the US after Tesla's disbanded the supercharger team. There's been a lot of criticism that Tesla got about this, that Tesla's going to be doing all these different things. And then there's also something else worth noting that BP had said in February last year that it planned on investing $1 billion in EV charging stations by 2030. In October, it placed an order for Tesla's superchargers worth $100 million. So it was Tesla was getting all this criticism. They're cutting their workforce and this and that. But Elon Musk said, hey, do not worry. Tesla is going to be spending more than $500 million to expand the supercharger network. And that is actually some great news. So, although the pace at which they're expanding may not be as fast as before if they don't have a large team for it, I still think that Tesla has a lot of potential to continue to expand it. And Tesla will eventually be in a position where they could hire more employees to continue this work. So, I personally believe, and this is what I'm thinking, Tesla's not laying off their employees for all of eternity. They will eventually rehire or even hire more employees later on to help with the supercharger network. For now, they're kind of stalling a bit because, once again, the company's in a very, very difficult position, but that is something worth noting. Elon Musk is also talking about how they're announcing $500 million to invest in the supercharger network expansion this year. That's just this year alone. So that's great news for Tesla. I'm very, very excited for what else they're going to be accomplishing. So Tesla is kind of like giving us a nice rebuttal for all those arguments. they're still very, very fixated on improving their technologies, improving the supercharger network, and expanding it. And I think that's absolutely incredible news. Despite all the criticism that they got about this, they're going to continue to grow, and I can't wait to see what else they announce. So Tesla expanding the supercharger network will be useful because all these other companies are going to be sharing it, and I can't wait to see once again what else is going to be announced. So for Tesla, if Tesla loses 172, look at support at 170. If that fails, we have 168 coming. For resistance, we have 175. If that breaks, we're going to be pushing all the way up towards this 178 zone, which is where we have this white trend line. If we break that, our next target is going to be all the way up to the 180 area. What is Tesla doing? It is turning just a bit somewhat slowly. So I do think Tesla could get a test of 175. We'll have to see if that breaks or not. The last time we touched it, we did reject. But if we do break it, we could see a nice little bounce. So I do think there might be an attempt for 175. We'll have to see if Tesla breaks through this or not. Tesla was still looking kind of weak relative to the markets because of all this bad news that's been coming out about like layoffs, and not to mention federal prosecutors just kind of continuing to pressure Tesla. But I just want to say that it could rebound a bit today. Watch and see how we end up reacting to that notorious 175 area, and then we'll have to see what happens after that moving forward. For Nvidia is also in a very, very critical place. We're back within our chop zone. So I did mention yesterday it might rebound to 900, but there is a risk of it dipping lower if we do reject. So it might shuffle in this 900 area. It's still stuck within the range. We have 908 as key resistance and 892 as support. So it might shuffle around this 900 range for an extended period of time. And if we lose 893, we're going to be dipping right back down. But I think that NVIDIA is going to shuffle for the time being. Whichever way it breaks will give us a big determiner of the direction, but it's kind of stuck at least for the time being. For SPY is looking bullish. I mean, we came very, very close to this resistance all the way up to about, this is around 521.5, and we've been continuing to pump higher. If we lose 520, we're going to turn back down to about 518 and then 516.5. And if we break 521.5, we're going to be breaking 522, the 523 area basically above that as the next critical resistance. But just know that the resistance at 521.5 is kind of tough. We did reject here the last time we hit this area, so like right here. So we will have to just wait and see. I think that there is more upside potential in the stock, but we're still kind of stuck right now at this tough resistance. So does SPY have more upside potential? Yes, it does, but we will see if this holds or not. If we end up closing below 520, then we could actually get a rejection. If we hold above this, then we could go even higher for now. And as of right now, SPY is showing some strength, so we will see how it does. It's pushing higher, but we have some tight resistance at 521.5 and 523, so we'll just have to see how things go from there. The QQQ is also pushing up very nicely, looking bullish, but we have resistance at 442.5. If we fail to break that, then watch if we do break it, watch 444. And if we fail to break it, watch 441. If we lose that, look at 439, and then eventually 437 if that fails. In my opinion, this could push a little higher, might shuffle at least at the upper end, and then we will see if it rejects or not. But overall, there is a slight bearish divergence developing on the QQQ, so we'll see if we get a rejection or not. But as of right now, it is holding up in the 442 area. It's trying to shuffle up here. So we'll give this some time and see if we get a rejection or not. The share price is looking bullish. Could push a little bit higher. But watch and see if we get that rejection. We have this imbalance to fill all the way up to about 444, and there's also another one up here around 446. The last time we hit those areas, we got rejections. So at 442, 444, and 446, we did reject. So wait and see how high we go. I think it could go a little higher, but then watch resistance just to be safe. For Apple has resistance at 185, and we have support all the way down around 182. We've been going back and forth for quite some time, but we are looking more bullish on Apple as it's continuing to hold up very well. So it could actually go a little higher. 185.5 to 186 could be tested. This is where we had this highest resistance from earnings. We will see if Apple kind of pushes higher, rejects here, and just trades sideways. I personally suspect it's going to go a little higher, and then we're going to see some sideways price action. So watch for that very carefully on Apple. For just a couple more, Amazon is going to likely fight that 190 resistance. We have support at 187, so it's kind of stuck and sandwiched between that range. It's been range trading between 187 and 190 for just a few days, so we will have to wait and see what it does. It might come down to some 187, then push back up and just continue to trade sideways right here, but just be careful. And then Meta is continuing to break out. We have 480, 478, and 480 as our resistance area, and eventually 485 above that. I think we're going to be pushing a little higher on Meta and getting very close to 480, and we'll see if it rejects or not. We're about to be testing previous support, which is now resistance, and we'll have to see what it does from here. Finally, for Coinbase, Coinbase is also rebounding a bit. I did call this move yesterday. Watch 215 to be tested. If you break this, we're going up to about 220. If you reject off this, we're coming back down to 210. So just watch and see, and we'll see how things end up progressing. With that being said, the VIX is currently in the 12s, but we know the VIX does love to basically bounce in this area, so it likely will in the future. We're just not ready yet. With that being said, give the market the time it needs. Tesla may attempt to rebound just a bit, but then we'll see if it rejects off 175 or not. If it gets a rejection, we could retest 172, then 170. And if we do break 175, it turn back to bullish. Tesla could rebound a bit and come back down. It's still not looking super strong, but there could be a little attempt thanks to the market. So just give it some time. With that being said, watch and see if Tesla pops and bounces, and we'll see how things go. Thank you for listening, guys. I'll see you guys in a few hours, and peace out.